And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another week, another edition of the ESL Open Cup Americas, number 223. We're back. It feels great to be back. I'm, of course, host Live VIP, and with me, I'm joined by the lovely people in the chat, by these amazing would-be players. And welcome. I know we've been offline for a couple of days. So for the first time in a long time, the stream has been down for a handful of days. I think 3 days so far. 3 days. And I do apologize for that. Again, I did kind of, I had the opportunity to maybe try to cast this live at the time, but you know what, I wasn't feeling 100%, and especially after being sick, like, this past month, like, I've been trying to recover from I think it was like COVID or the flu of some kind, and I was unwell for the past month, but I've been recovering. I'm pretty much 100%, but nowadays, even though we could probably cast every single day, I'm like, you know what? We're gonna just calm things down. We're gonna take it slow here while we can, you know, before Stars War 11 comes around, before EPT DreamHack Dallas comes around. We're just gonna ease our way into the month, and yeah, well, things are about to get intense in the next couple of weeks. So don't worry. we're gonna get back to casting every single day. Just, you know, taking some time off and taking a moment to breathe while we can. Aye. But again, you know, like EPT Spring, the regionals are currently underway. They've been going on for the past week, week or so, and that's eventually going to lead into DreamHack Dallas. We will most likely be a part of that. When I say that, I mean like a side stream. We're not going to I'm not going to DreamHack Dallas to the venue or anything like that, but most likely going to be covering, you know, some of the open stage or the knockout bracket, just like we have in years past. So I have to kind of get ready for that. The Stars War 11. WTL, yo, if you were here last week, you would know World Team League Code A has concluded. We did cover all of Code A over the past week as well, and Code A has concluded. Code S is around the corner, and remember, with WTL Code S also comes Kung Fu Cup. So Kung Fu Cup is coming back, WTL Code S is coming back, Stars War 11, the main event, is still on the horizon as well. We finished the group stage, we finished the qualifiers, we finished everything leading up to the playoffs, and that's coming up as well. So we're just resting up here in preparation for what is to come. Oh boy. But now we're diving into some events that happened earlier this week. ESL Open Cup Americas is typically on Tuesday here, Monday in Americas, Tuesday here in Australia, and alas, we are going to be going over some of the replays of that event here and now. So if you missed out on the broadcast live, then we got you covered. If you did happen to watch it live, then I do refrain you from posting spoilers. Spoilers will be banned in the chat, just a heads up, so take care of yourself when it comes to that. And again, these events are only a couple of days old, thankfully. Only a couple of days old here. So again, if you did miss out on them, we're willing to experience them for the first time together. And personally, ESL Open Cup Americas is one of my favorite ESL Open Cups. I just love that it kind of brings together all the regions and you get that kind of cross-regional play going on. ESL EU is very much so EU-centric. Very few, if any, Koreans or players from Asia do compete in it. Likewise, the Americans as well. Likewise, ESL Open Cup Korea or ESL Open Cup Asia is mainly, you know, centered here on Korean players and Asian players. You don't really get many players from Europe or America signing up for that event either. ESL Americas is when we all come together. Europeans compete, Koreans compete, and the Americans as well. That's what I do appreciate about it. And speaking of, here we go. Our first series, Dark versus Epic, coming up first in a Zerg versus Terran matchup. Vamonos, papi, vamonos. Epic has been a semi-active pro player here. He's the American Terran player, and yeah, he just has these moments, these kind of periods where he is active and others where he isn't. A big reason I'm pretty sure why he is competing here and why he's active is because of EPT Spring, not just because of the regionals that were taking place this last week, but EPT Spring is leading into an offline event at Dallas, and what's great about these offline events is that it's a good opportunity for all the regional players to come together to compete in the open stage and also to celebrate StarCraft together in America. So I'm pretty sure a lot of the NA players are a lot more active nowadays than they once were, because of Dallas, because of that DreamHack that's on the horizon. So again, really cool to see them all competing here today. Do appreciate as we dive into our first matchup into game one on Alkione. Let's go. Let us go. Catching him in the chat. Hello, Stan. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo estás? Bienvenidos a San, Dzień dobry, Siema Wormshik. I see Wormshik in the chat as well. Cyclones alive in the wired. Arker. Robert, hello peoples. Hello, bienvenidos. And withdrawal. Oh, but glad you got some rest and extra bench. Yes, all the extra bench, papi. All the extra bench. But here we go, we're getting into our first series, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone, we have our American Terran player, the Red Terran representing Storm Gaming. It is Epic. Oh, buen dia, papi. On random. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. Again, Dark, of course, always one of the many Koreans that do wake up early in the morning here on Tuesdays and compete in ESL Open Cup Americas. It's great to see him here once again. As always with Dark, I'm not sure how long we have him. I'm pretty sure a big reason why he did leave CranKy Gaming was because of his uncertainty as to how long he'd be able to compete for before, of course, joining the military. At least that's what I had assumed. As I say that, of course, Dark then did did thereafter join Talon Esports and has been a part of Talon Esports for a couple of months now. Not just I Am Katowice, but in the events leading after it. And I'm really curious to see, like, what's gonna happen. We're gonna, like, have another year of Dark. Remember last year? Like, it was like month after month, we're like, we don't know how long we have him, but, you know, he's competing, he's playing, and then he just stuck around for the entire year, and it's like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, I mean, regardless, I just want to embrace Dark as often as we can here while we do have him. We do have some returning military players here to kind of tag out with Dark, which is interesting. If you haven't tuned into ESL Open Cup Asia, I recommend checking out the VODs, because for the past couple of weeks, Rogue has returned. Rogue is a big Korean name, a big world champion coming back to StarCraft. He just finished up his military service, and he has been competing in the ESL Asia weekly tournaments, and he's been taking down some big names. I'm very impressed with how quickly Rogue has kind of gotten back on that horse and how quickly he's improved, and he's actually looking surprisingly good right now as well. So that's typically how things go. Like, when we lost Zest, we gained Hero. You know, as we're going to be losing Dark, we're going to be gaining Rogue. So yeah, you know, there's a bit of a give and take there. Great to see. As Reaper has arrived, we're going to be trying to pick up one of these drones. Won't be able to quite get it though. Do pull back. Behind this is going to be a 3rd CC opener, 3 CC before Starport. Very greedy, or I say greedy, very economic build here from Epic. It does make sense here on Alcyone. We're loading into one of the larger macro-oriented maps in the map pool. Maps like Alcyone, maps like, oh god, the name of the map with the go bases. You know what I'm talking about. That one. Yeah. I haven't cast in like 3 days now. It's all slipping my mind, Papi. Oh god. It's bothering me. I keep thinking Royal Blood. It's not Royal Blood. It's not Dynasty. Post-Youth. That's it. That's it, Papi. Post-Youth. But that's like Alcyone and Post-Youth. They do kind of lean towards longer games, and that is what at least Epic is getting ready for. Meanwhile, back across the map, Dark is anything but a macro player. I mean, I say that. He has an amazing macro play, but more often than not, he thrives here in the mid-game, and we do throw down that Roach Horn as a result. Roach Horn has been thrown down. Epic has yet to confirm. This is a scary moment here for the Red Terran player as he's going into BCs. Oh my god. Okay, Papi. Fusion Core has been thrown down, so we're getting ready for BC production. Now, this is scary. This is scary for the Terran player. Reason why I say this is because usually we'd see an add-on swap. We'd see an add-on swap going to Banshee production, and Banshees would come out earlier than a BC would. Because we're not going for the add-on swap, because we're going for a Fusion Core, that means that any kind of air support that the Terran army has is going to be delayed as we wait for the Fusion Core to finish. And we're amassing roaches. We are amassing roaches as we speak. Epic has yet to determine this, has yet to scout the natural base. He is in quite a bit of trouble here now. Thankfully, Dark is droning. He's making a wave of roaches. He's pushing with a wave of roaches, but he is not going all in. And that means that Epic may take some damage here, but he won't die. Epic, he will survive to get into his BC, or at least he's sure. There we go, roaches are welding across the map. Remember, behind this, we are droning up heavily. And Epic, he might be able to slip into one of these mineral lines. He goes for the natural. Goes to the natural base. Queens are in position. Roaches as well. And we do not find a way in. Hellions, they are just zoned away. They're forced back. Back at home, we're getting to Cyclone production. Are we going BC into mech? Oh, boy, epic. Papi, I remember when you were a bio player, Papi. Aye, not like this. But Cyclone production has begun. No still concrete confirmation that it is going to be mech, but we're leading towards it. As Roaches have arrived, they deny the bunker on the low ground. We're going for the Hellion kills as well. The BC is still 70% of the way done. We still need a little bit more time. But the Cyclones, they have arrived. Can we target them? Can we target them down? It looks like we barely can. No, one of them is going to be falling here. Just barely does get targeted. We take control of the low ground. We focus on the Hellions. We're going to try and get as many SCV kills as we can. We got 5 so far, and we deny so much mining time. 5 worker kills on pile. BC is revealed. And how many queens do we have at home to defend? Ooh, 5. Not too many. Again, the BC can target all of this down. 7 SCVs were killed. Pretty good damage dealt here by Dark. Remember, Dark, he was droning up happily. He's up to 61 workers. And he's throwing down Spore Crawlers, throwing down Queens. The BC gets here just as the Spore Crawler finishes. Again, Dark, he barely had enough time to prepare. Oh my god, the mass around with the Queens as well. A very nice positioning, very nice handling of the situation here. Dark, he does deflect the BC. It does no damage, doesn't even get the drone. As his drone barely survived. And now Dark, he's in a really good position. He is pretty far ahead here. We do see Epic stuck at home because he bled out so many units. He is getting into bio, by the way. We have more Raxes on the way. We have Stim in production as well. BC does get a couple of drone kills, but the goal base is being taken. And this is what's terrifying, is that Dark, he's about to establish not just a 4th, but a goal base. His economy is going to be booming, and Epic needs to do something to stop this. He needs to apply pressure. He does have some Hellions and some Cyclones. Not too many, though. It's risky. On the one hand, he has to deny mining time here. He has to try to punish the economy. On the other hand, though, if he bleeds out too much, then he won't have anything to defend. Here we go. Epic, he is pushing. He has to. Likewise, back at home, we have a Spire on the way. That's going to be for Corruptors or even Muters to help deal with the BCs. It's a bit of a give and take. Corruptors are better to deal with battle cruisers. Meanwhile, Muters are a little bit more flexible. They can shoot up and down. It's crazy. Which means they can harass after the initial battle cruisers have been dealt with. It looks like the Transfuser on point. We keep the Queens alive just barely. And the BC is forced back once again. Bailey does survive at least. At the same time, Overseer gets into the main, confirms that it's bio, not mech. Very important scout. We're getting into our melee upgrades. Baliness gets thrown down as soon as we recognize and confirm that it is bio. We are getting ready for Ling Bane. So far, clean reactions here to Dark. Again, I'm most curious about what is going to be done with this Spire. I'm leaning towards Muters, but we'll see. We actually don't have that much gas to work with. That is the big thing. Ling Speed just now finishing up. As Dark, he may opt to actually not make use of the Spire at all. Especially if there's only 2 BCs. May not need it. Not yet. Meanwhile, Hellion dive into the mineral line. We do manage to roast up, I believe, 1 drone. Oh, not even. It was 3 Hellions and a Cyclone for a Roach and a handful of Lings. So, not a drone kill here in sight. Not yet. And now Dark is up to 80 workers. He's on 80 drones. Has a booming economy. Epic is in trouble. He's now moving out with Stim. I believe we have 1-1. Yep, 1-1 is done. Stim is done. Combat shield still not quite completed. We're able to clean up some creep at least. Keep tabs on Dark. Keep him at home, ideally. While Epic is working on his tank count. Speaking of tanks, he is actually pushing. Okay. Bold move out of Epic. Again, it does make sense. There's a lot of pressure on Epic. The reality is that Dark is maxed. That's the reality. He's maxed out. Epic, I'm pretty sure he's trying to push out and try to break a base before Dark can overwhelm. But I think we're already there. As Epic is attempting to be a little bit more proactive here. As he moves out, Dark getting ready for a Ling Bane run by. Ooh, contamination here on the armory. Okay, interesting. Lings, they do flood in. Thankfully, we do have reinforcements back at home. We have Marines, we have tanks. A couple of Queens are getting picked off. Bailey speed is all done. Oh my god! It's not done, but we didn't even need it. We take the Baileys to the face. No pre-split. Delayed reaction out of Epic. And with that, now bailing speed is done. There's one tank behind this, two tanks behind this. But it's too little too late. Tank does get sniped. Meanwhile, across the map, 30 SCVs go down. Oh my god. The Lynx will clean up, but the Bailings, they popped off. They annihilated a mineral line. BCs are trying to get in position. And hey, they have survived this entire time. Here come the Corruptors, though. Corruptors are on the way. Reinforcements rallying across the map. What do we have to work with? We have three tanks, 60 Marines. One tank is going to go down. We're down to 2. And time is working against Epic right now. Dark, he's just remaxing. He's got 26 more leagues on the way. 2-2. Ultra Cavern as well. Now we collapse and we take down every single tank. Now only Bio does remain. And it's just not going to be enough. We do sim on forward. We can focus on at least some of these Roaches and Ravagers. But there are just too many reinforcements. Yeah, the BC finally goes down. We can now go for the medevacs. There's no more sustain for this army. And Epic, he runs out of steam. Runs out of units here. Behind this is down to 45 workers. Barely has an economy. Again, it was a good effort there by Epic. It was just unfortunate that Dark, he dove on the army as Epic was distracted by the run by. So we saw some insane connections, and that did kind of take the wind out of the sails of Epic early on in that fight. And yeah, now he's down to a handful of units remaining. Meanwhile, we have Ultras on the way. Jesus, Ultras, Greater Spire, Kindness Plating. No 3-3 yet, and I believe we don't have Adrenal. Yeah, we haven't researched Adrenal Glands either. So Dark doesn't have the most amazing upgrades, but Epic doesn't have 3-3. So it doesn't matter. Like, it's fine. It's fine, Papi, as we collapse on the remaining army here of Epic. And yeah, at this point, it is kind of a numbers game here. As efficient as a Bio army can be, Dark's economy was left untouched this entire game. Has been left untouched from the get-go. Dark within the driver's seat. He collapses on the army. GG gets called, and Dark will take game number 1. GG. Dark doing Dark things, you know, despite the map, despite us being on Alcyone. Dark, he's a very aggressive player, and he has a reputation. I'm sure if you've seen Dark before, this is not the first time you've seen Dark play with Roaches against Bio. It's not amazing. Roaches, they don't scale amazingly into the mid to late game, but if you're able to make them worth it, if you're able to go for these early Roach pushes, and remember, he didn't invest too hard. He made 8 Roaches. 8 Roaches, one of them morphed into a Ravager, and then he droned up behind it to get into his own economy, and he was able to deal enough damage, cripple Epic before it could really get going, and yeah, he was able to just take the game from there. Very impressive. I was mostly impressed with his response to the BC. Like, after the Roaches did damage, as soon as he realized what was happening, bam, we started up the Spores, we started up another wave of Queens, we got in position, and by the time the BC got across the map to try to punish the Roaches, BC didn't do anything. Literally didn't even kill a drone. It was crazy. It was impressive. Very impressive stuff there by Dark. And now we're getting into game number 2. Going to be on Crimson Court. And again, it was a little bit unlucky as well for our Terran player. Dark, it's not like he scouted the Fusion Core. He was just going for the Roach push. And we spoke about it. If it was a more standard game out of our Terran player here, who would have had faster Banshees, would have had 2 of them instead of the 1 BC, at the time, for example, would have had a little bit more of a robust start there, a stronger army, and he would have sustained less damage from the initial Roach push. It would have been a different game. But last, here we go, we're getting into game number 2, and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Crimson Court, we have our American Terran player, the Red Terran representing Psystorm Gaming. Down in this series, we're looking to bounce back. It is Epic. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Talon Esports. It is Dark. Here we go. Replay goes, I thought I have to stop drinking. No, keep drinking, papi, keep drinking. Ay, ay, ay. Phil, cálmate, papi, cálmate. Yeah, drink in moderation. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. But here we go, we're easing our way into our second game as we load into Crimson Court. I still expect Dark not to really deviate too much. Something important to take note of is that even though Dark is known for his Roach play and his Roach styles in this matchup, he doesn't just have to play Roach. He can play Ling Bane into Ultra, Ling Bane Hydra, Ling Bane Muta. Dark is a very diverse player. He may have certain tendencies and he may enjoy certain playstyles more, which does lead into him, playing them more often as well. This is true, but by no means is he a one-trick pony. Not at all. Not a player like Dark. As for now, Epic is going for a Rax expand. I do not expect to see another BC opener this series, not just this game, but I imagine we're going to be straying away from that moving forward. Mech is going to be on the table. We didn't see it in the previous game, but again, I'm sure Epic has some experience with that as well. We have seen Dark struggle with Mech in most recent weeks. If you were here for last week's ESL Open Cup Asia, you would have seen Gumiho versus Dark in the finals in a best of 5, and Gumiho did defeat Dark last week in ESL Asia, mainly with Mech. It was a best of 5. They played 4 games, and 3 out of those 4 games Gumiho played Mech. A bit of a fun fact there. So yeah, Gumiho has been really experimenting a lot with Mech and having a lot of success. Fun fact as well, I think it was that weekend, or this most recent weekend, with the KSL, the Korean StarCraft League, Dark played against Cure. Ooh, before I talk about Dark and Cure, that should not have happened. Smoge, Papi Smoge, feels bad, man. Losing the Reaper at the start of the game is a brutal beginning here for Epic. That should not have happened. Smoge, Papi Smoge. So with losing that first Reaper, that doesn't mean that, you lose your first Reaper, and now you have no scouting information, you don't confirm the third base, it could be a 2-base all-in, you don't get eyes on any fast Roach Warren. It's Dark we're talking about. He is willing to throw down early Roach Warrens, so that is a massive, massive complication here for Epic. That's a big thing that could be a possibility here, and Epic's in the dark. Epic does not know what's going on. This should be a BC opener. Sorry, this should be a Banshee opener. Shouldn't be a BC opener. Behind this, 1-1-1 as well. Interesting. Something more aggressive. Okay. So what's happening here is that we're delaying the third CC. Third CC is quite heavily delayed. We're rushing into I keep wanting to say BC. We're rushing into Banshees a lot earlier than normal. And this could actually work out quite well here for Epic. He's going to have a lot more Banshees than normal here at this at a more standard timing. And Dark is going for Roaches again. So Epic doesn't really know what Dark is up to, but based on the builds here, things are working out a little bit nicer for Epic. Here we go. Hellions are moving out. They're going to be dipping in between the bases, threatening that natural. Queen is in position, but the Lings are a little bit too late. Do get into Minerai. Remember, Ling speed is not being researched. It is skipped. And because that, we can wreak havoc here. We do get 8 drones already. Ooh, did I say 8? 10 workers go down. We still have another volley here with these Hellions. They take down every single Ling. And this should be cleaned up. We should not get too many more drone kills. We can maybe get one. Oh, we get one more. 11 drone kills in total. Very nice. And at the same time, more Hellions. They rock up at the natural. Once again, and I believe Epic did see the tech. Yeah, he does confirm the Roach one. He has seen everything he needs to. He gets so much damage done. 13 drone kills. Lost mine time at the natural base. And Banshees have arrived. We are safe to the Roach counterattack. So a very strong start here for Epic. The one downside for Epic is the third CC timing. This third CC is very delayed, so his economy is going to be delayed, but because of the damage that he dealt, it's worth it. You know, that there was a lot of onus, a lot of pressure on Epic to actually kill as many drones as he did, and now suddenly he's in a good position. Banshees, they get across the map. Do we have any spores? We do have a spore crawler in position. We have queens in position as well. This Banshee shouldn't get much done, but does get another drone. Does get one more worker. Slips in between the bases, is going to get eyes on the lair timing. Very important.
Complete.
Let's get eyes on this. We are maybe going to be able to get another drone. We do. One more drone goes down. We keep the Banshee alive. That's what's important. Behind this is going to be a bio transition. We have 1-1 on the way. Additional Raxes as well. That's so far so good. Epic is handling himself well. Dark is expanding, but you can see here that because Dark lost so many drones, he's been droning. He is not making any roaches whatsoever. Epic is perfectly safe and sound back at home under no threat of a counterattack. I think it would have been better for Epic if Dark did make a wave of roaches. I do think he would have been able to just shut it down completely and take a further lead. But thankfully, for both players, Dark is droning. Behind this, getting into 1-1, working towards Devastation Pits. The melee upgrade tells us that we're getting ready for eventually a Ling Bane transition out of these roaches, but we have to make use of this roach war while we can, and roaches, specifically Ravagers, are not a bad supportive unit here for the Zerg army. Dark, he can seamlessly transition from Roach into Ling Bane Ravager, and is working towards that. Epic, he does move out. Ooh, moving out with one of his tanks. Have we mined through these minerals? We have. We have mined through, bases on the way, but we are here to deny this hatchery. Do we have an army, by the way? Do we have an army? Tank does siege. We go straight for the hatchery. Queens are getting in position. We have a handful of roaches. We have 7 roaches to defend. Oh, and we're able to just step on forward. We focus on every single roach. We have a couple of transfuse. We do run out. We transfuse as best we can. We're down to 4 Marines. 3 Marines left. We barely focus on a couple more Queens and the roaches as well. 2 Marines, they stand strong. That hatchery is so low. Can we get it? Can we get the hatchery? We pull back. There's 2 Queens left. They focus on one of the Banshees. And it looks like Epic, he will come out on top here. The tank does go down. The Fungal! The Banshee! The Banshee survives. Reinforcements arrive as well, and Epic, he does not want to give up. He does not want to let up here. He's so close to killing this 4th base. But he has to pull back. Here come a wave of roaches. The Infestors came out clutch there towards the end. Dark, he barely does hold on, but what's scary right now is he was forced to produce so many roaches, so many lings. He did not trade efficiently. How many Queens did we lose? 5 Queens went down. We have 3 Queens left, I believe, that were just made, so that did disrupt the production, the injects. And because of the inefficient trades here, Dark, his economy is a little bit lackluster. He's just now droning up to 76. He's just now saturating his bases, working on 2-2. 2-2 also on the way for Epic, at least +2 attack is. And you can see that Epic has taken a supply lead. And he's pushing. And Dark is in some trouble right now. Link's speed just starting here. It's almost halfway done. We're getting there. And Epic should be pushing first. And I feel like this base is going to go down. Now, thankfully, Dark is taking another base towards the bottom right. Dark, he should be quick to react and pull away and evacuate these drones. Even if Epic kills this hatchery, it won't be the worst thing just because we have another base to mainard over to. The scary thing is if Epic keeps pushing. If he takes out the base and if he keeps on pushing towards the natural. That is what Dark has to be concerned about, as the army is breaking on through. Yeah, Dark, he does evacuate immediately. Knows he cannot save it. And the hatchery does fall. From here, Epic does pivot away. I think a really wise choice here from Epic. He doesn't try to force the issue. I mean, we are pretty well prepared in this choke point with this CranKy. Epic does rotate around, and he will catch the Lings. Now the goal is for Epic to rotate over towards the fresh mining base of Dark. And he's looking for it. He will check the center base, does confirm it's not here. He has not seen bottom right. Fungal's coming in. Decent Fungal. The tanks are in position. And Epic, are we gonna keep on pushing? Again, Epic, he is maxed out. He's at 200 supply. He's not going for the fresh mining base. The tanks are on siege. They're on siege for a moment, and Banelings, they do connect. Big piles as well. Not a bad start here for Dark. But he bleeds out a lot of units, and remember, he's actually going for a big counterattack. Okay. Lings, they flood in. Lings, they flood in across the map. They're not at home to defend. We got a decent Fungal in the army. Biles, they connect with the Medivacs. We don't even care, though. There's not enough Fungals. There's not enough NG. Focus on the Infestors. We get the Bailey Nest. Oh, the Blinding Clouds are brutal, though. The Bio Army can barely kite through this. But they do. They make it through the army. There were no Baileys. Ultras are arriving here just in time, but there's just too many Marauders, too many Marines. And we focus down the Ultra. GG gets called, and Epic, he will tap the series 1-1. We're going to the ace match. GG. Papi. GG, well played again. The stars aligned this time for Epic. His opener was ideal for what Dark was doing, and basically what happened here is that Dark was punished for going for the same build 2 games in a row. I don't know if you noticed, I didn't really put too much attention on it, but in game 1, Dark skipped link speed. He skipped link speed to get into his roaches, and the same thing happened here in game 2. He skipped link speed to get into the roach production, which meant that there was a window. There's a window where Dark didn't have any roaches, had slow lings, and a handful of queens. I say a handful of queens, like a decent amount of queens to defend. And Epic, he took his chance. He was able to get past the queens. There were no lings to stop him. There were no roaches either. And he did so much economic damage early on. And for him to go into Banshees behind that as well, it did deter Dark from investing into roaches and counterattacking as well. He was forced to be passive. Dark was forced to be more defensive, and Epic, he had momentum from the start of the game. It's really cool stuff. Really, really impressive play there out of Epic. Able to adapt to what Dark was doing. And the question becomes, here in game 3, does Epic pull off the upset, or does Dark, does he now react? Does he now respond? Does he now adapt to what Epic is doing? Let's go. We're getting into our next game. And again, because of the start of that game, that's why the first push of Epic did so well. He killed so many queens. Remember, he killed 5 queens, killed so many roaches, did shut down the hatchery itself, which allowed it to go down to the secondary push thereafter, to the second wave. All led into each other and spawning in the top left-hand corner of side Delta. We have the American Terran player, the Red Terran, representing Storm Gaming, forcing his opponent into the ace match. His opponent being one of the best Zerg players in the world right now. I would say top 2 Zerg in the world. Very impressive stuff here. Can he pull off the upset? It is Epic for Storm Gaming. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg, representing Talon Esports, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is Dark. Here we go. Now, for the most part, I think I have my eyes on Dark. I want to see if he does skip link speed again and go into a roach heavy style. To be fair, if we wanted to do that, this is a good map for it. The reason why, the natural base. The natural at on-site Delta is much more defendable. It is a ramp, it's a choke point, you have the high ground, you have the point of elevation. It is a lot easier to wall off here as well, and if Dark did want to go into roaches, this is a good map for it. Because of that, I wonder if Epic is going to open up 1-1-1 again. Is he going to go into Banshees? It's risky doing the same build 2 games in a row against your opponent here, against a player like Dark. We'll see. I still stand by what I said earlier, how I don't think we're going to see a fusion core. I don't think we're going to see battle cruisers again in this series. I feel like that would be a bit of a misstep, but we'll see. So now it's going to be a Rax Expand standard opener here out of Epic. Reaper's on the way. Meanwhile, back at home, Dark is just getting into his hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of our Zerg player so far. Really, I've got my eyes on the gas, on where we do spend our gas, what we want to invest in, whether we do go into link speed or not. And there it is, link speed is on the way. For the first time this series, we're getting link speed first. As a reminder, both in game 1 and in game 2, Dark, he delayed link speed quite heavily, and he didn't get it until after his roach push. Meanwhile, Reaper does slip in, dancing with these lings. Ooh, takes down 2 lings already, and this time we don't lose the Reaper, thankfully. Should be, oh my god, should be able to escape. Just barely. Does slip away. But again, Dark, he's now respecting Epic. He's responding to his playstyle, and he's playing safe. Meanwhile, Epic back at home, getting to his own 1-1. Soon to be his Hellion production. And it is going to be a 1-1-1. Hellion production into a starport, delayed third CC. The Overlord of Dark will confirm this. Does confirm the opener. With that, Dark should be a little bit safer here, and may even prioritize walling off this natural. Because now he knows just how aggressive Epic plans on being. Like, again, this is going to be leading into an early, I imagine, Banshee production, delayed TC, could lead into a 2-base all-in, could lead into a Hellbat push. There's a lot of aggressive potentials available here to Epic. Stark is droning. He does allow Ling Speed to finish. Getting his 3rd base. Ooh, the Lings, they do shut down the Reaper at least. And we are just continuing Queen production. Handful of safety Lings to avoid the dive. We may even go Bailey Nest before Lair and before 1-1. I'm curious. There's that 3rd CC on the way. 3rd command center is now being thrown down, so it's not going to be a 2-base all-in or anything like that out of Epic. None of the sort. Hellions, they do dive into the... Well, they do threaten the 3rd base. They see that there's nothing here to take advantage of. Dark being very safe as he now Maynards over towards that 3rd. Now that it's safe, now that he has the Queen count and the Lings. And across the map, Dark, he also confirms the follow-up here. Rax is on the way. Cloak is being researched. Dark is aware of that. Hellions, they try to poke in. Once again, they are deflected. And the Banshees are now out on the field. Behind this, we're going Lair first. Okay, so we're not being overly safe, but we're going for a Lair first. We're not going for an early Roach Warren this time. By now, in both Game 1 and in Game number 2, we would have already seen a Roach Warren by now. So, Dark, he's playing Ling Bane. For the first time this series, straight up Ling Bane out of Dark. Let's go. Likewise, after the Lair, we throw down the Roach Warren. This is to line up Roach Speed, so again, really safe play or really standard play out of Dark, not rushing into 1-1 upgrades or Evo Chambers. So again, Dark taking Epic seriously here. Behind this, Epic getting into his own upgrades as well. Will soon be taking his own 3rd base and hasn't really done much with his initial army. His Banshees are still going to be threatening that 3rd. They're now moving out. Epic does clear up some of this creep. And the Banshees have arrived, but we are in position. A good target firing at the Dark. We bleed out 2 drones. Do bleed out 2 workers, but we do get quite a bit of hold damage on these Banshees. So Dark, he does hold, he does defend. So far, so good. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe, yeah, we didn't invest too heavily into Hellions. I was very surprised by this. Is that we only made 4 Hellions here from Epic, so he's getting into bio production and the rest of his upgrades, his rest of his add-ons very quickly. Very quickly switching out of Hellion production into bio, into tank. So this first push here from Epic is going to hit sooner than normal. Usually this is around 7 minutes. This is around a 7-minute tank push. This is hitting a little bit sooner here. Looking at the vision, Epic, he's aware of the 3rd base. He's going for the 4th, which is just now finishing up. And can Epic deny it? Reinforcements on the way. Interesting, because it looks like we're waiting for our reinforcements. Changeling does spot those medevacs. Dark knows. And is getting in position. Lings are hoping to catch reinforcements. Ling Bane getting ready as well. And do we get into the mineral line? Ooh, we don't quite go for it. Never mind. We almost did. Changeling does have eyes on reinforcements, so Darky saw. And now we're getting ready for a surround. Bailing speed is done, by the way. Again, because of the Lair first, much faster than game number 1 or game number 2. Bailing speed is ready for this. We collapse on the army from behind as well. And bow tanks, they get shut down. Good cleanup out of Dark. Double drop into the main. Only Marines, no more tanks. No more Hellions either. And the unloaded just takes a little bit too long here. We shut down the drop. Queens are in position here at the 3rd base or at the 4th. And Epic does get deflected. And Dark, this entire time, he has been taking up quite hard. He threw down a very fast infestation pit. Now, this looks like Dark wants to go Ling Bane into Ultra. It is a playstyle that Dark does enjoy in this matchup on some of these larger maps. Basically, what he does is he skips the Spire, skips the Hydrogen, goes into a very fast infestation pit. He gains map control with Ling Bane, and he rushes into Ultras. It feels like that's what's coming here. There we go, we have Adrenal on the way. There it is, Ultra Cavern has been thrown down. This is a really risky playstyle. The big downside of what Dark is doing is no anti-air. Without Hydras, without Aspire, without Mutas, it does mean that drop play can be more effective. But as we can see here, so far, Dark is keeping up, and we bleed out too many Marines. 3 Marines are left in this drop. Meanwhile, we have another double drop here towards the north. We take the Babies to the face! Ay, ay, ay. And we bleed out half of the Marines here as well. And because Epic is losing too many units, it means that these drops aren't as threatening. It means that it doesn't matter that Dark doesn't have anti-air. Minimizing losses, shuts this down, and Dark, he's getting away with these Ultras. Oh boy. The Ultras, they are on the horizon. And even though the supplies are similar with each other, the power spike here of the supply that Dark's going to be working with is going to be out of this world. Kind of Splating's on the way, followed by Ultra Speed. We do have Vipers in production as well. And the other thing with this style is that you need to be active. As we see here from Dark, you need to be proactive, you need to be on the map, you need to be catching these drops, forcing them back. Buying time here for your Ultras. Now, Dark doesn't have any pushing power. He cannot threaten the bases of Epic, not yet. Again, we're too entrenched. We have good Sim City, we have some good tank lines as well. This space here towards the south is a little bit more exposed, but we're reinforcing. So again, Dark can't really push in, not with Pureling Bane, or it's difficult to. If he throws away too much, he's going to be vulnerable. We have to just wait a little bit longer to build up those Ultras. And I believe Epic doesn't know. That's the scary thing right now, is that there's a lot of onus right now on Epic to apply pressure and to be dropping and to deny bases and to get into mineral lines. Because Epic, it does feel like he's playing a little bit scared. It looks like he assumes that Dark is going to push in, but Dark isn't, which means Dark is getting away with it. So we bleed out a lot of Marines. Likewise, Bailey's connects here as well. Epic's getting deflected, and again, if Epic knew what was happening, we'd be throwing down more bunkers, better Sim City, Marauder production, Ghost Academy would be required. Without Ghosts, without more Marauders, without Sim City, these Ultras are gonna go to town. Vipers have arrived, we throw down some power bombs. Good reaction out of Epic. Good splits. Good splits overall. As Epic is attempting to establish his northern base. Oh, but again, delayed reaction here. Epic bleeds out every single Marine. He's down to 1 Marine here towards the south. And Ultras should be arriving. There we go, we have our first 2. Vipers have arrived. Now we can blinding cloud the tanks. Speaking of, there's that blinding cloud. We're going to clean up this army. Yeah, tank goes down. As we pull back, we deny the northern base. Dark looking to push in towards that third as well. The Baileys, they connect. Baileys, they do connect. We break into the mineral line as well. Into both mineral lines. The planetary goes down. And Dark is just pulling Epic apart. He's done it at this point. He survived long enough to get into Ultra production, to get into Hive Tech. He has made it. Now, we do have a Ghost Academy, but no Ghosts. There's no Ghosts yet. Epic, he's a little bit broke. He can't quite afford it. He's trying to rebuild, trying to remax. And Epic has maxed out. Oof. The problem is he's being forced all in. Look at the worker count, down to 49 SCVs. The lean run bys, they just don't stop. Catching another tank. Now it's all or nothing for Epic. He is all in. And we're pushing into Ultras, we're pushing into Lane Bane, we're pushing into Vipers. All it takes is a couple of good blinding clouds. And this army doesn't mean much. A very nice pre-spread. I'm loving the pre-split here from Epic. There's blinding clouds covering every single tank. And we will clean everything else up. Epic trying to kite his heart out here, pulling back. Does save a handful of units. And again, because there's no consistent anti-air, the medevacs have been living, they've been surviving. But doesn't really matter. It's like, sure, we have plenty of medevacs, but that's all we really have. Gee, how many medevacs do we have? 14! Oh my god. More medevacs than there are marauders, almost as many medevacs as there are marines. Jesus. It's a lot of medevacs, man. Across the map, we clean up most of those lings. Epic is trying to stabilize here on 41 workers. Dark is already remaxed. We should be seeing a Spire from Dark to get ready for Corruptors and Broodlords, but there's no rush. Couple of tank volleys going up. And at least we have parasitic bombs as well to deal with those medevacs. We should be throwing them down. There they are. Ooh, big power bombs on the army. Oh my god. And we shut down 1, 2, 3 medevacs. 3 medevacs go down. Oh, a bunch of them get softened up. And yeah, the Ling run bys, the Ling counterattacks, they just do not stop. Knocking Epic down to 35 SCVs. I mean, hey, Epic, he kills an Ultra. At least. Doing what he can. He does have a comparable army size and army supply to that of Dark, that is true. Epic, he's got like one big fight in him. One fight, that's all he has. As we catch the reinforcements, no! The tanks, they get caught out on siege, and Epic, he can't take that final fight. Not anymore. He's being chased down. Oh, like this. Just a brutal cash there. And now Darky's going for the kill. He's had enough power bomb here on the army. GG, well played gets called, and Dark will take the series 2-1, advancing on into the quarterfinals. GG. GG, well played. Very well done here by Dark for taking the series, but a big shout out to Epic, because even though Epic may have lost this series, even though Dark did take it in the end, Epic forced the ace match, and that's not something that just any player can do out there. So I'm very impressed here. Even players like Clem can have a really hard time taking maps off of Dark. So yeah, big shout out to Epic for being able to force that ace match. Again, winding it back in game 2, Epic did adapt quite well to Dark after that first game, and it did feel like Dark was maybe a little bit overconfident. How we saw Dark just going for the same build 2 games in a row, assuming that it would work, assuming that, you know, that's all he would need to do against a player like Epic. And I'm sure Epic did gain a bit of respect out of Dark from that game number 2, forcing the ace match and forcing Dark to adapt and forcing Dark to, you know, approach Epic in a different way. GG. GG, well played. With that, Dark advances on into the next round, into the quarterfinals. Here we go. Are you doing any other matches today, or just Dark versus Epic? We're starting with Dark versus Epic. This is a round of 16 match. We're going to be going into the quarterfinals, into the semis, into the grand finals thereafter, just covering as much of this event as we can. This is merely the beginning of the broadcast, merely the beginning.